Well, hey there. Welcome to the Paw Chronicles and More with Jim. Well, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant this grafted Persimmons. This is the more part. That right there is a grafted Persimmons from last year. It was a micro graft, very small. And I had the scion wood, it was small enough. I thought, let's graft a few of them and see how they do. I had 3 of them. And 2 of them took. I gifted 1 to a friend. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant that little tree into this bag. Now I have another bag right here, and this itself is a Persimmons. One of the things that I've come to find about the Persimmons is dirt mass. Incidentally, that tree there was the same size as this tree is now when I transplanted it into that bag and left it in the greenhouse. And that was last year. So we went from here to there in a 1-year time span. Out in the field, one of the things I've come to find is persimmons, once they're in the ground, they grow quickly. They like to have plenty of room for their roots to do what it is that they need to do. I got a little bit too much in there. Find it easy to use these feed scoops when working with soil. What I'm going to do now is check the depth and see where we're setting at. I guess I could use a little bit more in there. Now, one of the things that I had been told by someone is to plant the graft below the soil. The graft takes place just below this one piece of growth. The soil I have is repurposed soil, but that repurposed soil has been conditioned with biocarbon, which is the compost, and biochar. And biochar was charged up with calcium and kelp, as I explained in a previous video. We're going to go ahead and try to take this out of the pot and get her in place. Held together a little bit better than I suspected it would. Now let's just turn it upwards, set it down in there. And the edge I'll break up just a little bit. And I'm going to take a little bit of mycorrhiza, soil moist, and spread it down in there. As the roots begin to grow, it'll come across that and help it to take in nutrients. Throw this off to the side over towards the pail of water I got with bleach. Nice looking little tree. right now I'm right up to the graft line. Now let's give it just a little bit of water. Move this out of the way. The one thing I've come to find with these root trapper bags is they hold a lot of moisture as far as retaining moisture in the bag. What will happen is the roots will come to the edge of the bag and it'll snag the inner side of the bag and it won't grow anymore. It'll just get stuck there. They just sit there and it can't turn because it's like a felt on the inside. And a little bit of air gets through the bag, it'll cauterize that root, and then it's supposed to go back up the shank of that root and create root mass. That's what I had been told by the developers of the root trapper bag. They're also the same people that make the Rootmaker pots. Add a little bit more water. The dirt is settling down, and now the graft is exposed, the graft line that is. And we're going to keep working on this because we're going to get that graft line below soil grade. Let that move down just a hair, tamp it. Shove that dirt down a little further. Along with the tree, the graft line, about right in this area right here. And put a little bit more water on there, because we're going to get some more dirt on that in a minute. I'm going to let it settle down to where it is. But I was surprised when I transplanted these ones. This one right here, by the way, is just a seedling. It's a seedling from a China bully. And I had a piece of fruit here that came from Cliff, England. And I set it on the windowsill to let it soften up a little bit. And I'm glad I did, because it gave the seed enough time to mature to where I could stratify and germinate. And there was 4 seed. Out of the 4, 3 of them germinated. 1 died. It was buried out there in the back, planted in the back. The 3 of them was. And when the 1 died, I took the other 2 up, and in conversation with Cliff, it came to a determination. Let's build a root mass up on it and try to transplant it once again to see if it's willing to live this far north. I'm north central Ohio. But whenever I did that transplant into them bags and seen the growth rate, I thought, my word, persimmons love root mass. You give them plenty of room for that root development to push out there, and they'll take off just like that. I planted them out there in the yard, and within the first year, by the beginning of the next season, I've had them as tall as 6 foot tall. It's amazing how fast that grew. And that bag here wasn't even treated with the biocarbon and biochar. It was with biocarbon, but not biochar. This one here is a different treatment, which would be even better than what was in that bag. I've been staying on top of of the fertilizing, but man, that is really something how that grew. But I got some things in there to take care of while this is settling down. My name's Jim. If you like what you see, subscribe. Don't forget to click on that bell for any notifications. Any comments or questions that you may have, I welcome. You all have a God blessed day.